Hello. Hello, hello.
No introduction needed nu or knowledge ver irpa. Chitra is one of them. He doesn't need any either. But adhe or periya compliment to that. She's many of us have learnt about intricate parts of கோயிலுக்கு போனால் சாமி கும்பிட்டோம் அப்படின்னு இல்லாமல் டெம்பிளை பற்றி எப்படி டெம்பிளை பார்க்கணுங்கிற நாங்கள் முதல்ல கற்று நவ் தே ரன் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் ஆன் ஹவு டு சி அ டெம்பிள் டிஎஸ்டி ரன்ஸ் ஒன் பட் அதை முதல்ல நாங்கள் கற்றுனது லிஸ்னிங் டு சித்ரா அண்ட் இன்னைக்கு வந்து ஷீஸ் கோயிங் டு டாக் அபவுட் இன்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன்ஸ். எனக்கு ஒன்றே ஒன்று மட்டும் தான் ஐ வாண்ட் டு கிளாரிஃபை. ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு கான்ட்ரவர்சி இருக்குது. ஸோ எங்கள் தமிழ்நாடு இன்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் எல்லாம் வந்து மைசூரில் இருக்குன்னு. அது வந்து இந்த ஸ்டாம்பேஜஸ் தான் அங்கே இருக்குது. இன்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் எப்படி தூக்கி முடியும்? கோயிலில் இருக்க இன்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷனை 30,000 இன்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் அங்கே மைசூரில் இருக்குதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டுருக்கேன். தேவர் ஜஸ்ட் ஸ்டாம்பேஜஸ் பை ஏஎஸ்ஐ விச் இஸ் தேர் இன் மைசூர். ஸோ இன்றைக்கும் எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் இன்ஸ்கிரிப்ஷன் எப்படி படிப்போம்னா இந்த ஒன்று மட்டும் தெரியும், இந்த ஜா பக்கத்தில் வந்துச்சுன்னா ராஜராஜா. ஸோ தேடிண்டே வருவோம். அங்கே ராஜராஜா வந்து உடனே முதல்ல சொசைஸ்திரி வந்துடும். ஸோ இதே மாதிரி தான் படிப்போம். மெட்ராஸில் நிறைய இடத்துல இருக்கும். எனக்கு வந்து சம்டைம்ஸ் தே ஷோடஸ் வேளாச்சேரி கோயில் வேளாச்சேரினே கல்வெட்டு இருக்கும். So we know that the name of the town hasn't changed for 1,000 years, 1,200 years. Kulothanga period la maaralanu theriyum. So inniki is going to give a very interesting, this is very intricate, very innate part of our history. That is the inscriptions la ellame pre-British irukum, very rarely post-British irukka mudiyum. So Madras oda older part, that's what we are going to see today. Chitra, please.
Namaskaram and a very good evening to all of you. At the outset, I would like to thank Sri Arkay sir for giving me this opportunity, as he has been for many years now, to talk about something on the history and culture of Chennai for Madras Day. Very happy, wishing you all a very happy Madras week, Madras fortnight. This is the only city that celebrates its birthday. We are very proud of that. And listen to a wonderful talk just before that. So nice. I call her Jajma. So thank you very much. This will be a far more serious lecture. I have tried to make it, I have tried not to make it technical. For those who are scholars, historians, archaeologists in this audience, you'll find it very disappointing. For those of you who are not, you will find it very technical. So I'm trying to do something in between. So I can add this interesting and informative temple inscriptions of Chennai and surrounding areas. Let's first go to the Adipureshwara temple in Thiruvalangadu. I understand that most of you are from South Madras, like me, Mylapore, adjoining areas, Srinagar, Adyar, etc. For us, North Madras is like a great distance away. We may even go across the seas to some other place, but going to North Madras seems to be a big effort. We sometimes don't even know how to go, where this Thiruvalangadu temple is. Please find your way there, because this is one of the oldest temples, most magnificent temples in our city. As Mr. Venkatesh Ramakrishnan just said, I'll be dealing with inscriptions pre-British times. We'll be looking at some Pallava, Chola, Pandya, Vijayanagara inscriptions. Almost all of those are in the Adipureshwara temple. There are some temples which have just Chola, some only Vijayanagara, etc. This has all of them and more. So this is the famous Adipureshwara temple. It's a Padal Petrasthalam. As early as 5th century, a Pallava king, Kadavarkon Ayedigal, he came here. He was also a Nayanmar. So which means to have brought him to this temple must have been much older. You have the other famous Nayanmars also coming in. And this is the outer Gopuram, and this is how we go in. I am not going to show the appropriate inscriptions for each of the epigraphs that I am going to be talking about. This will be very general. So this is how the walls of the Thiruvalangadu temple are covered with inscriptions. Sometimes, the dislodged inscriptions are also found at ground level in many of the temples, including in Thiruvalangadu. You have Tamil, you have Sanskritam, you have all kinds of inscriptions over here. This is found somewhere on the ground. This is when, at some point of time, the inscriptions fell off, or during renovation they were taken out, did not know where to put it back, put it on the ground, remains there, kind of thing. So I'm going to read this. There is an interesting inscription in the Thiruvatiyur temple which belongs to the reign of Kulothunga Chola III, one of the last Chola kings who ruled from 1178 to 1217. He had a title, Tribhuvana Veera Deva. It is given in this inscription in Thiruvatiyur. Tribhuvana Veera, he was the bravest in the three worlds. Incidentally, it was during the reign of this ruler that the famous Kampahareshwara, not to be pronounced Kampahareshwara, it's Kampahara Ishwara temple in Tribhuvanam near Kumbakonam was constructed. And the original name of the Kampahareshwara temple was Tribhuvaneshwaram, after his title Tribhuvana Veera Deva. So this is the Kampahareshwara temple in Tribhuvanam. Like many of his ancestors, this Kulothunga III was also a very, very ardent devotee of Shiva. So this is that temple. Among the four great Chola temples that archaeologists talk about, this is one. The other three, one in Chanjavur, one in Gangaikonda Cholapura, and one in Dharasuram, are all protected monuments under the care of the Archaeological Survey of India, and they are also now UNESCO World Heritage Sites. They come under this inscription. It's inscribed the great living Chola temples. But this Tribhuvanam temple, which should actually, according to most of us, be under ASI, should also be a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is not. And it kind of shows. So we are going back to Thiruvatiyur now. According to Kulothunga III's inscription in Thiruvatiyur, a lady dancer. In the history books they write dancing lady. I don't like that. Lady dancer I think is more appropriate. A lady dancer named Thiruvatiyur Ammai requested the king to donate a village for the expenses of making a golden palanquin, pallakku, so that the deity Vyakarana Dana Perumal, note this name, Vyakarana Dana Perumal. She is asking the king for making a golden palanquin for Adipureshwara. He is the presiding deity of this temple, and she is asking for the deity Vyakarana Dana Perumal. That is Adipureshwara actually. I'll explain later. Making a golden palanquin so that the deity Vyakarana Dana Perumal could be taken out in procession in a service called Tribhuna Veeran Sandhi in this temple. The king arranged for this to be done, and 100 valley of land in a village called Kulapakam, alias Shivapada Shekara Nallur, was donated to meet the expenses for the above. Subsequently, in August 1206 CE, the palanquin and 2 anklets were made. The same lady again requested this king for another donation, and this too was done. Now, this inscription, I have to tell you, has been edited by a very experienced epigraphist called Dr. S. Swaminathan, who was working with the epigraphy branch of the Archaeological Survey of India. I have taken it from his article. I am acknowledging it. According to Dr. S. Swaminathan, the very fact that the dancing girl could approach the king for donations and the king's consent to provide such donations indicate her social esteem and respectability in society. To illustrate, the Chola ruler Rajaraja III, the successor of the present king, attended and witnessed a dance performance called Agamarga by a lady dancer in this temple. So, these lady dancers enjoyed a great lot of prestige in these temples. Some interesting words in this Tamil inscription. Tribhuna Veeran Sandhi was a festival for the merit of Tribhuvana Veera, that is Kulothunga III. It was for his punya. Thiruvadu Thandu is the palanquin used for carrying the metal images in procession. Sedaram, we know that today if you walk into any of these gold shops on North Mada Street, they say Sedaram. The loss of metal during the process of making an ornament, that is also given here. Thiruchuttu is an ornament worn on the head which hangs down from the forehead. Sidukku, we always say Sidukku is a knot, is here a jeweled safety pin worn on the head to keep the locks of hair tidy. All these little details are given. It is known that Kulothunga Chola III, like many of his ancestors, was an ardent devotee of God Shiva. Other than the construction of the Thiruvanam temple, he is also known to have donated liberally to the temples at Uttaramerur, Thiruvarur, Chidambaram, Madurai, Ekamaranatha temple in Kanchipuram and Thiruvidaimarudur. Such a great devotee of Shiva also did all this for our Thiruvatiyur temple. Many are his inscriptions over there. I am now showing you an image of Nataraja in the Thiruvatiyur temple, not in worship, somewhere up there on the vimanam, for the simple reason that there is an inscription connected with him. I am now talking about Panini. Now Panini was the author of a book called Ashtadhyayi. Many of the Sanskritists in this audience would know that he was a very great grammarian. His works, you just have to go down the road to Sanskrit college with which Jajma is closely connected, and Panini's works are very famous. But why am I bringing Panini into interesting inscriptions of Chennai? I mean, there seems to be absolutely no connection, but there is a connection. Panini was so great that India Post brought out a stamp. This is the book that he has written, Ashtadhyayi, read all over. A very great work on grammar. Go back to the Thiruvatiyur inscription, and going back to the reign of Kulothunga Chola III, that's 1178 to 1217, in the Thiruvatiyur temple, it mentions that a person called Durgayandi Nayaka, an agent of the king's subordinate, gave a lot of land to this temple for maintaining a hall called Vyakarana Dana Mantapa for feeding students and for the worship of Vyakarana Dana Perumal Shiva. Now, why should first of all Shiva have the name Perumal? We know that Perumal Kovil is a Vishnu Kovil. All of us know that. If you want to go to Shiva temple, there is Shivan Kovil, Ishwaran Kovil. In Tamil Nadu, if you want to go to Vishnu Kovil, you say Perumal Kovil. Now, here Perumal is Shiva. How is that? Perumal was a name given to Shiva in many of our ancient inscriptions. Terms and terminologies have changed over the centuries, and our mindset now is Perumal equals Vishnu. Perumal equals Shiva. Then Vishnu's name in many of the ancient inscriptions was something Alvar. For us now, Alvar are the 12 devotees of Vishnu, etc. But something Alvar ending with suffix Alvar was the name given to Vishnu, and in many Shiva temples you find inscriptions where it ends with Perumal, and that is Shiva. So this is Vyakarana Dana Perumal. Vyakarana is grammar, Dana is to give. So this Perumal, this Adipureshwara whom we are talking about today, gave Dana of grammar to whom? To Panini. Now we all know that Panini lived approximately in the 1st century BCE. It is also, I think, fairly well recorded that he was born in present-day Pakistan in Lahore. That is where he lived. That is where this work was created by him, etc. Now from Lahore to Thiruvatiyur, what is the connection? Let us understand one thing. Every temple has its own Sthala Puranam. That is a traditional story. We are not going to question it, we are just going to accept it and take it forward, because we here have a 12th or 13th century inscription talking about Vyakaranadana Perumal Shiva and how he did give something to Panini, which I'll tell you about very soon. Let's not question how the person born in Lahore could come here, why Shiva taught him here, etc. We'll leave that. So this lithic inscription, meaning stone inscription, states that Vyakaranadana Perumal was pleased to appear before Panini Bhagavan for 14 continuous days in that very place of the Mantapa and to teach him the first 4 aphorisms, Pratyahara Sutras. They are all called Maheshwara Sutras, those with which the Paninian grammar commences. I think you may, those who know Sanskritam here, it goes like that. It's very important for students of Sanskrit grammar to know this. Another inscription adjacent to it, also of the reign of Kulothunga III, states that on the recommendation of a person called Vanadarayan, the king declared that the land presented for the upkeep of the Vyakaranadana Mandapa by Durgayandi Nayaka to be made rent-free, meaning the taxes that were to go to the king were exempted. So all that land was to go for the maintenance of this Mandapa. It was so important. Students studied there, the teachers had to be paid, grammar was taught there. An epigraph of Jatavarman Sundarapandyan, much later, also makes provision for maintaining this hall in the Tiruvutiyur temple. But where exactly this Vyakarana Dana Mantapa that received so many donations was so famous, Panini sat there, Shiva came and taught him the Maheshwara Sutras, where exactly is that today in this Tiruvutiyur temple? We really don't know. We can't point to this particular Mantapa and say this was that Vyakarana Dana Mantapa. But Dr. S. Shankaranarayanan, a very great epigraphist and Sanskrit scholar, has mentioned in an article that these inscriptions are written, etched on a wall very close to the Nataraja Mantapa that is there in this temple. And that is Nataraja who actually came and gave these 14 Pratyahara Sutras to Panini. So it may be that the name has changed today. We are calling it Nataraja Mantapa, but it could be that Vyakaranadana Mantapa. Alright? Now we are going to the interior part of the Tiruvutiyur temple. This is the main Garbhagriha, the main sanctum, which is in a shape that you all know. It's not square, it's not rectangle, it's not circular, it is rounded at the back, and this is called the Gaja Prishta Vimanam because when seen from the back, it looks like the back of an elephant. Gaja Prishta. Prishta is back in Sanskrit. In Tamil, it's called the Tunganai Mada. We all know that. I know my photographs are very bad, but I had to sneak my camera in and do all kinds of things, so this is all you'll get. It's rounded at the back. Sanskritam epigraph etched in the Grantha script. In Tamil Nadu, we hardly find Sanskrit inscriptions written in the Nagari script, the Devanagari that we say today. It was Grantha that was used in Tamil Nadu. So, a Sanskrit epigraph inscribed in the Grantha script, seen on the base of the main Vimanam of the Tiruvutiyur temple, gives interesting details about this Vimanam in which Adipureshwara, the Shivalinga, is enshrined. This inscription is important as we come to know that this Vimanam was constructed in the reign of Rajendra Chola I in the 11th century, and that the name of the architect, Takshaka, was Veera Chola Ravi. See, we have hundreds and hundreds of temples in the whole of India. We have thousands and thousands of sculptures. But where do we get the names of the architects or the sculptors? Very rarely. We definitely do have, but they are very rare. And compared to the numbers of temples and numbers of sculptures, these are very, very few. Here it is given. Takshaka has become the Tachan of today. Tachan today for us is carpenter. Takshaka then was architect. Okay? And his name was Veera Chola Ravi. I'll come to that. The names of some parts of this Vimanam are also given in this inscription, making it a unique and interesting one. I'd like to read out this inscription to you. I will also explain what is there in it. It starts with Swasti Shri, which is an auspicious beginning. And it says, this is just one verse. Takshanaihi tat chitra vimanam bahuvida charanaihi toranaihi Kutakoštaihi, Nidaihi, Dabraihi, Adabraihi, Mrigapati Vadanaihi, Nasikadhyaihi, Vichitram, Deveshasyadi Puryam, Ati Bahulata Raihi, Ashmabihi, Krishnavarnaihi, Rajendrasya Prasadat Kritam Iha Ravina, Rajarajasya Sunuhu. Chaturana Choditena Tena Trittala Nirgata Dushanam Vimanam Ravina Adi Purishwarasya Shambhoho Kritam Etat Vara Veera Cholaha Takshakaha. Long. So you can get these names. Rajendrasya Prasadat. It was by the donation of Rajendra Chola. Rajarajasya Sunuhu, the son of Rajaraja Chola. Deveshasya Adipuryam, Adipureshwara temple. All these things are very clear. Now, actually, what does it say? It says that this Vimanam was built in the reign of Rajendra Chola. But this is very contradictory. We know that this is a Devara Padal Petrasthalam. All the Nayanmars had come there, and all the Nayanmars were obviously there much before the reign of Rajendra Chola. So where was the Shivalingam not there? Was this Garbhagriham not there? How did Rajendra come and build it? It's very simple. That Garbhagriha, which houses the Shivalinga Adipureshwara, may have been made of brick, may have been made of some other perishable material, it may have been badly damaged, and Rajendra came along and gave orders for this stone vimanam in the Gajaprishta shape to be built. So that's why you have Rajendra Chola's name over here. It was in his reign that it was done. Now what about the other many words that are there? Let's see, it's very interesting. Ati bahulatharaihi ashmabihi krishnavarnaihi, made of several slabs of black stone. Bahuvida charanaha, many pillars were there. Toranaihi, Toranam, we know, Toranam for us is the mango leaf hanging there in front of our doors during some festive occasions. Toranam actually means decoration. So there were many decorations. Kootakoshtaihi, and these are all technical names which are parts of temple architecture. Mrigapati vadanaihi, interesting. Mriga, animal. Mriga, deer also. Mrigapati, the leader, that is lion. Mrigapati vadanam, the face of a lion. There were many lion-like faces there. Nasikayehi, Nasika's nose. Many nose-like projections. So that Vimanam had all these very many details that's just given in this one verse on the base of the Gajaprishta Vimanam over there. So I think you can, I don't know whether you can see, these are all the inscriptions on the base of the Vimanam. It just goes like that. Very interesting to know, but no one goes anywhere near it. This is the only picture I could take of the top part of the Gajaprishta Vimanam. But from outside, from the second prakaram, it looks like this. Nicely rounded at the back, like the back of an elephant. Ancient temple, ancient Vimanam. I am just going now to show you a map which I have downloaded from the net of the Rashtrakuta Empire. Most of you would have heard of this Rashtrakuta dynasty, but mostly we are not taught anything in school, so we may not know. And the capital was Manyaketa, today's Malkhed in Gulbarga district. Ellora, all of you know. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's known for that monolithic Kailash temple mostly. All that was a work of the king of the Rashtrakuta dynasty. This is not a kingdom, this was an empire. Look at where it stretches from north to south, even coming into Tamil Nadu. So there are several inscriptions of the Rashtrakuta ruler Krishna III of the 10th century in Thiruvatiyur. Now, how did Rashtrakuta Krishna's inscription come here? We'll go to that. One of these, dated 957 CE, registers a gift of 30 karanj, that is a standard gold weight of those times, of pure gold for a lamp by a person called Narasingayan, a merchant in the royal camp of the Rashtrakuta king. He was a native of Manyaketa. This shows that Krishna III must have brought a number of people with him into the Chola country when he invaded it, not just soldiers, all merchants, all of them came, and some of them may have settled down here also. So, Krishna, I on purpose put this in another color because it's not really part of the inscription. Why did Krishna III invade Tamil Nadu? We know that kings were invading one place and the other. They were aggressive, but Krishna III had a particular reason for invading Tamil Nadu, and that was in the reign of Parantaka Chola I. You all don't know, many of you may not know Parantaka Chola I because he doesn't figure in PS1 and PS2. He was before PS1 and PS2 happened. So Krishna III, who ruled from 939 to 967, was also known as Kannaradeva. His grandson, daughter's son, was the half-brother of the Chola Emperor Parantaka I. He wanted his grandson to ascend the throne. He didn't want Parantaka I. He wanted his grandson. So he decisively defeated the Cholas in the Battle of Takkolam. Takkolam is here near Arakonam. But anyway, Parantaka I continued. That's why he went right up to Kanyakumari. He is known to have taken on the title of destroyer of Kanchi and Tanjai. Very powerful king. He rode right through the Chola country. Alright. Now here is another very interesting inscription from Thiruvatiyur. I'm still in Thiruvatiyur. Better check the time. This is of a person, not a person. This is a title. Like Shankaracharya is a title, the Jiyar is a title. This is a title, Chaturanana Pandita. Chaturanana is actually Brahma, 4 faces. Chaturana Pandita was a title of a Mathatipati in Thiruvatiyur. There was a Mata. Most likely it was a Kapalika Mata. Kapalikas were those people like say the Aghoris of today, who smeared ashes on their body, lived in crematoriums, ate food from a skull bowl, etc. So Thiruvatiyur is known to have been a Kapalika place. Some people wonder, this deity here, our favorite Kapalishwara, has that name, Kapalishwara. Maybe this too was a Kapalika place. We don't know. We don't have much evidence. But Thiruvatiyur definitely was a Kapalika place. Now there is a very long Sanskrit inscription, and it was edited by none less than the famous Sanskrit professor Dr. V. Raghavan. But I won't read out everything to you because you already all look very bored. So I'm just going to give you the gist of it. So this Parantaka Chola the first, whom I just spoke about now, married a princess from Kerala. And generally when they married princesses from Kerala, there came a lot of dowry, very useful dowry, that was elephants. So, but in this case, maybe he got elephants, I don't know. There were many soldiers from Kerala also who came and joined the Chola army. It can clearly be seen from inscriptions. One of these people who came from Kerala, very strong soldier, his name was Vallabha. He joined Parantaka Chola's army, and he became a great friend of Parantaka Chola's son, Rajaditya. Very, very, very good friends. But unfortunately, he says in the inscription, unfortunately, he was not able to participate in the war in Takkolam, where Rajaditya died. His good friend died. And he says, I was not there with my prince when he died. I was not able to support him. That was that battle against the Rashtrakutas. So he got very dejected, totally dejected. He went to the Ganga up north, took sannyasa, and then came back to Thiruvatiyur. And he joined this Mata of Chaturanana Pandita, and he studied there. And this Chaturanana Pandita Matam was closely attached to the Thiruvatiyur temple. And finally, after many years of studying, etc., he became the head of the Mata of this Mata, this Chaturana Pandita Mata. So it's a very moving story of how, as a true friend, he could not help his master, Rajaditya, totally broken-hearted, and went to the extent of taking sannyasa. So that is what this inscription is about, and it is there in Thiruvatiyur. It's a Sanskritam inscription. We now go to the Masilamanishwarar temple in Thirumalai Vayil. Many of you may have gone there. It's Padal Petrasthalam. It is the 22nd of the 32 Padal Petrasthalams in Tondai Mandalam. Tondai Mandalam is the northern part of Tamil Nadu and a little bit of South Andhra Pradesh also. Sundaramurthy Nayanar visited this temple in the 8th century. And there are several inscriptions and the Gajaprishta Vimanam that stand testimony to its antiquity. This is the Masilamanishwarar temple. The Gajaprishta Vimanam at the back is the old one, Chola one. The Gopuram came later. Okay, so this is the Gajaprishta Vimanam. The Thiruvatiyur temple Vimanam looks just like this. So this temple has an inscription dated 984 CE. The British said that we don't have a sense of history. I wonder what the thousands of inscriptions all over India are all about if they are not recording of history. And the recording of history in the minutest details. They may not have thought of history being recorded like this. Maybe there was another way that they were used to, but that doesn't mean that our history was not recorded. We will not be able to write our history textbooks without the help of these inscriptions. Anyway, the Masilamanishwarar temple in Thirumalai Vayil has an inscription dated 984 CE belonging to the reign of Uttama Chola. You all know that Uttama Chola, Rajaraja's uncle. It registers a gift of land to the Mahadevar temple in Thirumalai Vayil by Sembiyan Mahadeviya. You all remember that Sembiyan Mahadevi, that grand aunt of Rajaraja Chola, pure-hearted lady who dedicated her life to rebuilding temples. Temples made of brick were made into stone, new temples were built, bronzes were given, so many bronzes were given to the temples. Anyway, She was the daughter of Malavarayar, one of the Chola chieftains, and queen of Gandaraditya Perumal. And again, Perumal is coming over here. Okay. The land was bought from a Sabha of Ambattur and Ambattur Nadu. Same Ambattur. Okay. Sabha is an administrative unit. It is a subdivision of Pural Kottam. I am using all these words because I want us to understand a Kottam is a big geographical area. We now are in Puliyur Kottam. All this is Puliyur Kottam. That side is Pural Kottam. So these two Kottams will make their presence felt in many of the inscriptions. Okay. A certain individual agreed to measure out I'm sorry for the typos, measure out 1 nadi of oil to the temple after having received the land. He was to irrigate the lands with water from the village tank. The name of the person who wrote the document is also given. What perfect documentation is this? Now, Sembiyan Mahadevi, we know from the Koneri Rajapuram temple. Okay? The proud people from Koneri Rajapuram are here in the first row. They're all smiling now. So, the Koneri Rajapuram Unamanjeri temple, one of the largest Natarajas that you can see donated by Sembiyan Mahadevi. And here is this lovely sculpture. If any of you have not gone to Koneri Rajapuram, please go. This is Gandaraditya, Sembiyan Mahadevi's king, husband, worshipping a Shivalinga there. This is how the temple, I took this photo long back, it may be painted now. It's like this. This is a bronze image from the Freer Museum in America, US. This is actually Parvati, but there are scholars, experts in iconography who feel that this beautiful Chola bronze of Parvati was made in the likeness of Sembiyan Mahadevi. Okay, but it's a beautiful, Chola bronze is a Chola bronze. So anyway, coming back to Chennai, we are going near Thirumalai, we are going to Padi, the industrial hub. And there is a Thiruvalishwarar temple, the same famous Thiruvalidayam. It is the 21st of the 32 Padal Petrasthalams in Thondai Mandalam. Thirunyana Sambandar visited this temple in the 7th century. Again, several inscriptions and the Gajaprishta Vimanam stand testimony to its antiquity. I took this picture when this temple was being renovated. Your Gajaprishta Vimanam is here. Now look at this inscription. An inscription of the reign of Vijaya Gandugopala. Now who on earth was this man? We've heard of Chola kings, some Pallava king, Pandya kings. Vijaya Gandugopala we've not heard of. He was a chieftain, but very, very powerful chieftain of the family of Telugu Chola dynasty. Not Chola, Telugu Chola. The headquarters was Kanchipuram, our own Kanchipuram. They were chieftains in the time of the Chola kings and very powerful in this Thondai Mandalam, North Tamil Nadu area. The number of inscriptions of Vijaya Gandugopala you find in Chennai and surrounding areas is mind-blowing. It's dated 1280. It records that a lady dancer from, note this name, Tiruvegambam Udaya Nayanar temple in Kanchi. Ekambam Udaya Nayanar temple. Ekamarnatha temple. If you read it together like the Tiruvegam Udaya, we won't understand. Ekambam Udaya Nayanar Ekamarnatha temple. From there, she consecrated the images of goddess Tiruvidi Nachiyar in the temple of Thiruvalidayam and presented both to the god and goddess a number of jewels and vessels. What were they? They included a gold fillet bowl weighing 2 3/4 karanju, 1 crescent. Why crescent? For Shiva. Weighing 1 karanju, 1 Thirumangali weighing 1 karanju, necklace containing 8 superior pearls, 528 second class pearls, 2 gold beads, 13 long corals, 40 round corals, altogether weighing 10.5 karanju, and also a dish, a plate for arati, waving lamps, a cup, etc. What detail! Those of you who like jewels, you can see that this coral, this pearl, that pearl. I don't think even the jewelry shops here will know that much. That detail is given over here. We go to Marundishwarar. And it's a standard gold weight of those times. I honestly wouldn't know. First of all, I'm not fond of jewelry. Secondly, this detail I don't know. So Marundishwarar temple. Absolutely. It takes its name from there. Ama. That is Puralkottam. Puliyur, since you are asking, thank God you asked, I'll explain this. If you go to Kodambakam, you'll see one street called Puliyur Street. It takes its name from Vyagrapada. Vyagrapada is Pulikal Munivar, and he is said to have worshipped in the Vengeshwara temple in Kodambakam. You know that 100 feet road, if you go, you will see one Gajaprishta Vimanam there. That's a Chola era temple you have in Kodambakam. So there, this Pulikal Munivar is supposed to have worshipped, so it got the name Puliyur. We are all now in Puliyur. Okay.
There's a Puliyur canal.
There's a Puliyur canal also. All right. I wanted to take a photograph of that Puliyur street day before yesterday. I couldn't do that because of the traffic. Because of the traffic, we miss out on many things. There's also a Kaushikeshwara temple very close to the Vengeshwara temple in Kodambakam. That is also a Chola era temple. So Marundishwara temple in Thiruvanmire, everybody knows Marundishwara temple, or we think we know. So the 25th of the 32 Devara Padal Petra Sthalams in the Tonde Mandalam area, Maharshi Valmiki's association with this temple is well known. You know, when you go down ECR, you have to go this way, that way. One big, one shrine is there, that's Valmiki. According to the Sthala Puranam of this temple, Valmiki is said to have worshipped Marundishwarar. He was also called Aushadishwarar. So this place came to be called Valmiki Ur, which became Vanmayur, which became Thiruvanmayur. Even now you have a Valmiki colony there. So that's the association. Appar and Tirnyana Sambandar have sung in praise of the deity enshrined here. Arunagiri Nadar, author of Puharar, also come to this temple and sung in praise of God Muruha. This is the west Gopuram, because this god faces west. There are two Gopurams on the east side, all modern, because this temple suffered much damage in the past. It was in a terribly dilapidated condition. Now the Sannadhi that I want to take you to is the Tirupurasundari Amman Sannadhi, which if you come from the east Gopuram is on the right. Here, see, before this I'll tell you one thing. Many of the Ambal Sannadhis in Shivan Kovils and the Lakshmi Sannadhis that you see in Vishnu Kovils in Tamil Nadu are not of the same date as the main Sannadhi. They were built much later. Most of them were built in the Chola period, mostly starting from the time of Rajendra Chola. I'll give you one. I know I'm deviating, I'm going off at a tangent, but doesn't matter. You take the Tanjavur Brihadishwara temple, when it was built on the orders of Rajaraja Chola, the Brihanayaki Ambal Sandhadi was not there. That was built by the enemies of the Cholas, the Pandyas, when they took over the Chola country. Okay, so similarly, many of the Varadaraja Perumal and Kanchipuram, the Sannadhi was built in the Chola times, though the main Sannadhi is very old. Like that, here in this temple, in the Marundishwara temple, though the original sanctum of Shiva would have been built in the Pallava or pre-Pallava times, the sanctum for Ambal was built in the reign of Rajendra Chola. So, because the inscriptions in the Marundishwara temple are mostly found on the walls of the Tirupurasundari Amman sanctum. They belong to the 11th century, to the reign of Rajendra Chola I and his son Rajadiraja I. And the first inscription is dated in the 6th regnal year of Rajendra, 1018. Okay, and it mention is made of the temple of Mahadeva in Thiruvanmayur. It named Thiruvanmayur itself, a Devadana. Devadana means Danam given to Deva temple. In Kotur Nadu, Koturpuram, Adu Kotur Nadu, subdivision of Puliyur Kotam, the entire thing was Jayangonda Chola Mandalam. Okay, so this is the Ambal Sannadhi. But when you go, I don't have a picture of the inscriptions inside, and the main sanctum was not allowed. So I'm showing you the Mantapam through which we are going. Now this Mantapam is Vijayanagar. So the inside Sannadhi is Chola, Rajendra Chola built that. The original temple, Pallava or pre-Pallava, I don't know. Ambal Sannadhi, Rajendra Chola. The Mantapam in front of the Ambal Sannadhi, this beautiful Mantapam, actually there is so much to see in this Mantapam. All Vijayanagar, all Vijayanagar. This is Durga, Narsimha, Ugra Narsimha, then you have Sharabeshwara here. Look at this Sharabeshwara. All this is Vijayanagar. I showed you that Ambal Sannadhi only to tell you there are Rajendra's inscriptions and that it seems to have been built in Rajendra's times. We are going to a place called Unamanjeri. You've all been there, I think. Vandalur Zoo. It's next to Vandalur Zoo. So there is a Kodanda Rama temple there, and this is the Utsavamurti of Rama. I'm very lucky to get this picture. I took this picture, they took these photos before it was, much before it was renovated. Old car, so old photo. So, but now it's spruced up and very brilliantly colored. There was no compound wall. I believe the compound wall has come, but I'm happy I have this ancient look photograph with me. And there is all sculptures on the Vimanam. Vijayanagara emblem is here. Now it's cleaned of all these colors. So the Varaha with the sword, Surya and Chandra. The Vijayanagara ruler said, like Varaha Swami, we will save Bhuma Devi from the attack of others with the help of our arms. As long as the sun and the moon exist, and this was for several hundred years, they managed to do that, and the temple tank. Now, inscriptions wise, there are no stone inscriptions here, but you have this wonderful, very precious copper plate inscription. And those of you who know, Devanagari, you can try to read this. This is called Nandi Nagari script, which has become now the Devanagari of today, and this is what is used in the Vijayanagara inscriptions. Okay, so this is it's called the Unamanjeri copper plate inscription. This is how it looks. The whole inscription is in Sanskritam. It's written in the Nandi Nagari script, but right at the end you have this, that is in the Telugu Kannada script. And if you can, those who can read it, you will know that it says Sri Virupaksha. Why should it say? I'll tell you what this inscription contains. I'm just looking at my watch also. So this inscription was written, was issued in the time of Achyutaraya. He was the half brother and successor of the very famous Krishnadevaraya. Okay, Achyutaraya ruled from approximately 1530 to 1542. The Vijayanagara Empire was still at its height when Achyuta was ruling this. All the Vijayanagara emperors, till the time they were in Hampi, in 1565 they had to leave Hampi because of a devastating invasion. Till then, from the time they entered Hampi till the time they were driven away from Hampi, whenever they issued an inscription, they would say, I Achyutaraya, I am giving this, I Krishnadevara, I Mallikarjuna, I that. Last line will be Sri Virupaksha. The reason for that is because you know of the famous Virupaksha temple in Hampi. He was their Kuladaivam, and they were ruling as his regents. So every order went in the name of Sri Virupaksha. I am giving, but ultimately it's Virupaksha who's signing the document. So this is Virupaksha's signature. So, Virupaksha's name over there. Look at that. Look at those very huge copper plates, like a spiral notebook we can turn. They are etched on both sides. There's a copper ring. There's a hole on each of these plates in exactly the same place. Copper ring. And then the crest of the Vijayanagara Empire over here. The one that I just showed you, showing you that it was the king who had. This is what the Vijayanagara emblem actually looks like. This emblem you will find on the walls of many temples in Hampi, Bhadraja Perumal temple, here, there, all the places where the Vijayanagara rulers contributed, you will have this symbol of Vijayanagar. So this is Hampi, you know. This was the glory of the Vijayanagara Empire when Krishnadevaraya was ruling entire South India and parts of Orissa also. Achyuta's empire was also something like this, imagine. And this is the Virupaksha temple in Hampi. It's a living temple. Puja is done every day, literally on the banks of the river Tungabhadra. In fact, a canal from this is said to run through the kitchen of the Virupaksha temple from the Tungabhadra. And this is the god that the Vijayanagara rulers accepted as their Kuladaivam. From Harihara Bukka onwards till Sadashivaraya, who left Hampi, he was their Kuladaivam. So now I'll go back to the inscription. What does this inscription actually say? It clearly says, Achyuta Devaraya, sitting on the banks of the river Tungabhadra, by the grace of Vitaleshwara, there is a Vitala temple there, by the grace of Vitaleshwara, gave to a group of scholars in the Vedas in the village of Uhinai a grant of land. the names of all the, I'll read out if you want, but you'll all go to sleep. Names of all the scholars, that's why it's so big. The names of all the scholars are given. The Shaka of the Veda that they studied is also given. The name of their fathers are also given in this inscription, and the number of shares allotted to each scholar is also given. But the entire land was not distributed only to the scholars. Some amount of land was given to the Rama temple, and some amount of land, it is said, is given to God Chandishwara of a Shiva temple over there. All, it was renamed as Achyutendra Rayapuram. That was also there. So where was this Uhinai? The same place where the copper plate inscription was found in the Rama temple in Unamanjeri. So that little Unamanjeri that you see with that kuti little Rama temple was a village important enough to attract the attention of Achyutaraya sitting there in Hampi, then Vijayanagar, and for him to give the grant sitting on the banks of the river Tungabhadra. I think that's one of the most interesting inscriptions that we have. I hope you won't ask me an awkward question like, where is this inscription now? I don't know. So, why did don't ask. I said don't ask. I made a request. So, we'll go to the Parthasarathy Swami temple in Thiruvalangadu. Why should we say triplicane? We can say Thiruvalangadu. Thiruvalangadu, the town of the sacred lily tank. So beautiful. Our tongues will roll. We can say Thiruvalangadu. So, in the main sanctum, we so easily say Parthasarathy Swami, Parthasarathy Swami. Parthasarathy is the Utsavamurti, as most of you know. The main deity is Venkatakrishnan, Mush and all. So he's in the main sanctum, this is what you see with Rukmini, and this side is Balarama, also called Sankarshana. Here is Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Satyaki. All Krishna family here. Krishna's wife, Krishna's brother, Krishna's son, Krishna's grandson, Krishna's relative. There was a relative called Satyaki. We don't know much about the Satyaki. He helped Krishna in all his wars. Then he also participated in the Mahabharata war. He did so much on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He was even able to harm Drona. Can you imagine what kind of a warrior he must have been? Krishna was also very dependent on him. So he said, come into my sanctum, we will have a image for you. They are all worshipped over here. Together they are called Panchaviras, 5 brave people inside this sanctum. Now in this temple you have like this. You have, and then this is a twin temple. Parthasarathy on one side, Narsimha on the other. Both have Dwajastambhams, both have Gopurams, both have Brahmotsavams. They are equally important. Equally, this is how the temple looked beautifully once upon a time. Like the speaker before me said, we cannot go back to those times. Unfortunately, when this temple was renovated, many of the inscriptions were dislodged, but they have been kept very safely, and the temple authorities have taken pains to write below the inscription the date, the dynasty, the script, the language, etc. This good work has been done. You also have some inscriptions still on the walls of the temple. But the most important inscription here is that of Dantivarman Pallava. Dantivarman was the son of Nandivarman II. Have you all been to this Vaikunta Perumal temple in Kanchipuram? It's a very, very beautiful temple. The builder's son was Dantivarman, associated with the Uttarameru temple. His inscription, once very carelessly kept, has been kept very safely over here, and that is enough evidence to show that it's a Pallava period temple. And the Alvars came, Thirumangai Alvar, Thirumizhi Alvar, Pei Alvar, all of them came to this temple. So there is also a Vijayanagara inscription giving you the names of all the deities in the main sanctum. All that is also very nicely recorded in this temple. Can anyone tell me which temple this is? Difficult if I just show you the Vimanam. So we go to Thiruvidandai on the East Coast Road. This temple by the sea, there is also an inscription that shows the association of fishermen with this temple. Why I am showing you this is not because it's a particularly interesting inscription. I just want to tell you that temples elsewhere are mentioned elsewhere. I'll show you. There are several inscriptions etched in a certain temple referring to another place. In the Nitya Kalyana Perumal temple in Thiruvidandai, there is a Chola lithic record which records a donation of 15 kanju of gold handed over to the Sabha or the administrative unit of Anidhira Mangalam, that is Madambakam, that is near Tambaram, from the interest of which they agreed to pay ghee 1 a day for a perpetual lamp to the Thiruvidandai Devar temple at Thiruvidandai. Madambakam is mentioned over here. And the Sabha of Madambakam pledged themselves that if they failed in their undertaking, they should be levied a daily fine of 8 kanam. All these details are there. Another inscription in the Thiruvidandai temple records a gift of money by a merchant of Mailarpil. Where is that? Where you are. Mailapur. One merchant from here gave that to in Puliyur Kotam to the shrine of the goddess in the Alvar Varahadeva. See that? Varahadeva is the god. They call him Alvar Varahadeva in Thiruvidandai. Another inscription mentions a donation of gold by a merchant of Thiruvattiyur to the temple of Varahadeva. So from Madambakam, from Mailapur, from Thiruvattiyur, you have donations to other places. This is that Thiruvidandai temple. This is the Utsavamurti, Nitya Kalyana Perumal. Just for a moment, we'll go to Thiruvalangadu, that is near Arakonam, going far away. This is one of the Pancha Sabhas where Nataraja dances over here. This is a very famous temple. It's a Padal Petrastalam associated with Karaikal Ammayar. It is said that Nataraja and Kali had a dance competition here, which Kali lost. I think you all know that story, so I won't go into it. There's a Bhadrakali Amman temple here, which we should visit before visiting the main Vataranyeshwarar temple in Thiruvalangadu. This is the Kali Amman temple. What was Vataranyam, a forest of banyan trees, had been reduced to this today. And here there are many stone inscriptions, Chola times, thereafter, many important ones. I am not going into it because it's not Chennai. I want to take you to a copper plate inscription which was found in the Thiruvalangadu temple, which is now in the Chennai museum. So this is that, belongs to the reign of Rajendra Chola. It is half in Sanskritam and half in Tamil. It is like this. Please go and see it in the Government Museum Madras. This is the seal of the Cholas. And this beautiful, very beautiful Nataraja was also found. Thiruvalangadu Nataraja also in the Madras Museum. Postage stamp is there. Why I am showing it to you is the 11th century Thiruvalangadu copper plate inscription of the reign of Rajendra Chola the first, found in the Vataranyeshwara temple, mentions Nunkampakam, our very own Nungambakam. So why was this Nungambakam mentioned? In Puliyur Kotam, mind you, among many other places, in connection with the numerous officials who were ordered to carry out the donation stated in this inscription. Let's say I am a king. I am saying I want to donate 10 acres to Arkay Center. There are people who have to carry out that donation. All their names are given and the places from which they came are given. One such official belonged to Nungambakam. Okay, so this inscription is there. Adipureshwara, I'll wind up soon. Adipureshwara has a Gajaprishta vimanam on which there are many inscriptions, but the earliest inscription in this area belongs to the 10th century and it belongs to Sundara Chola, Parantaka Chola the first. It gives you the original name of this god whom we worship as Adipureshwara today, Sitreri Mahadeva or Sitreri Udaya Mahadeva. There is a small area there, Sitreri. Alright? Very quickly. Our own Virupakshishwara, we can walk there and back now. There is, it is associated with Poompavai. There is a sculpture here which is said to be Sivanesan Chettiar, the father of Poompavai, whom Trinyana Sambandar revived in the Kabalishwara temple. And many inscriptions, badly taken photographs, I'm sorry, by me, here and there, near the ceiling, near the floor, etc. So there are inscriptions, I don't know, are or were, I don't know, dating from the 11th to the 16th century have been found in the Virupakshishwara temple. The earliest belongs to Veera Rajendra Chola of the 11th century. Kopuranjinga, he was supposed to be one of the last Pallava rulers. His inscription, Kadava Kopuranjinga, his inscription is here. So you have so much in your own Virupakshishwara temple. Next to Virupakshishwara, Karneshwara temple on Bazaar Road. Here also Many inscriptions have been found. Again, they date from the 12th to 16th centuries, Vikrama Chola, Kulotunga Chola, etc. I won't read the full thing, don't worry. It refers to the god of Thiruvanmayur. So, there are two options. One, you can think that I am a person from Mylapore, I am giving a donation to the god of Thiruvanmayur, Marandishwarar, but I am writing the inscription here as a record. Or there is another thing. The Thiruvanmayur temple was very badly damaged, as I told you. Most of the structures that you are seeing in that Padal Petrasthalam today are newly built. So, there are many scholars who will say that the blocks of stone that were there, demolished and damaged and lying around, were taken and these temples were built by them. So, therefore, donations to the Marandishwarar recorded then are being displaced and found over here. Vadishwarar temple also in Mylapore, close proximity, like this, vestiges of antiquity found here and there in all these temples, here and there. Again, so many inscriptions over there. So friends, all I want to say is, anywhere you go in Chennai, you will find an ancient temple. You will find many inscriptions. Some may have been damaged, some may be fragmentary, some may in fact now not be there after several renovations, but they have been very carefully recorded by the Archaeological Survey of India. You heard Venkatesh Ramakrishnan said that the copies of these inscriptions have been kept in Mysore, now transferred also to Chennai, many of them. Those estampages, as we see, you can't go and read inscription after inscription in a temple, but the copies are there, those can be read. Some have been published, some have even been translated, and they give you a wealth of information about this city, not only about the city, of the history of Tamil Nadu, adjoining areas, etc. You see several scripts, you see several languages, names of so many kings, economic history, social history, political history, cultural history, everything is there in these inscriptions. The wealth of information. Unfortunately, for far too long we have ignored this wealth and we have ill-treated it by damaging, destroying, etc. It's high time we woke up to that treasure that we have in Chennai. I hope you will all rise to the occasion. Thank you. So there were many Rajarajas, many Rajendras, many Kulotungas. Their dates have been given there, not in AD, BC, Anamarilla, in Shaka era. So we convert them to this calendar that we are using today. So because of those dates, we conveniently, we are doing all these things. They didn't do it.
Marathas did not have the habit of...
Maratha inscriptions are definitely... but it's not recorded in an inscription. Maratha inscription is not there. Maratha inscriptions you have in the Tanjavur area. That it is a historic event. It did happen, but I am not aware of any inscriptional evidence for the same.
But they had the habit of doing it.
Marathas, of course. Oh, yeah. We have many copper plate inscriptions of Marathas, many stone inscriptions also. Tanjavur temple also has.
And Thiruvalangadu separate fish symbol.
So I'll answer that one second. Oh, okay. So
they ruled the Pandya.
I'll just one second. I'll explain this in detail to you. So actually, this is the tiger. It looks like one small cat, but it's a tiger. And you see the two fish in front of it means the cat has gobbled up the fish. Your Pandyas. The Cholas had, in fact, Rajendra had a title Madhurantakan. It was not only Uttama Chola. Many Chola kings had the title Madhurantakan, Antakan, who had destroyed Madurai. But don't worry, your Pandyas hit back and they were the reason for the fall of the Chola Empire ultimately. Jatavarman and co. Many people were responsible for that. After 1279, you don't see any Chola inscriptions at all. So your two fish are there, but not in good company.
So what is the earliest inscriptions that you find in this area?
In Chennai, must be Dantivarman's inscription in Thiruvalangadu.
And in general, in Tamil Nadu?
In Tamil Nadu, the earliest inscription, those are Brahmi script inscriptions. Brahmi script, Tamil language. Now it's so difficult to say anything, but these belong to the Sangam age. Traditional dating given to Sangam age is 3rd century BCE down to 3rd century CE. So we have Brahmi inscriptions at that time.
And they were also as detailed as what you have.
No, those are not very detailed at all. But we get a lot of information from them also. Over time, the inscriptions became longer and longer. For example, the copper plate, the Thiruvalangadu copper plate inscription that you see the size, and see the size of Achyuta's inscription. That was much bigger. Pallava copper plate inscriptions are much smaller, just 2-3 plates, they're much smaller. Some are slightly bigger, but Chola times it becomes bigger, Vijayanagara time becomes very heavy.
Which one the temple city? Madurai or Tanjavur? Kumbakonam.
There is a difference between temple city and city of temples. So Kanchipuram is a city of temples. Temple city would be Srirangam. The city itself is the temple itself is the city. Okay.
Claiming Kumbakonam is the
I will say Kanchipuram.
Kumbakonam is the access to 100 temples. I think that's the case.
Kanchipuram may be many more.
Mahendravarman is one of the oldest stone inscriptions.
Mahendravarman's inscriptions are among the oldest stone among the Pallavas, starting from the 7th century. We don't have any in Chennai, though he definitely ruled over this area. Tirupuru Rajasimha's inscription was there, but since Tirupuru is far away, I didn't mention.
Now they call it Tirupuru OMR. OMR is
OMR is Chennai. Okay. All right. And now everything is Chennai, so.
cover next time.
Now, whatever she has referred, nothing is 300, 400 years old. It is 11th century, 9th century, 8th century. There was talk by Dr. Nagasamy here saying that Chennai was the headquarters of Pallava kings. There was an inscription which he gave one full lecture here. So we are all talking about a city which is 2000 years old actually. But for various reasons and the influence of British, we thought this is only 386 years. Anyhow, always celebrating Madras is always a great feel to us. After listening to Dr. CHITHRA MADHAVAN, your weekend is full. Because which temple to go and visit and see all these things. And this happens whenever she talks about temples. And we always feel she should be given more time. But anyhow, she herself has cut down. To make this possible, we have an agreement between us. On every 25th of December, for the last 5 years, she is giving a talk here for at least minimum 2 hours. Okay? Please make a note of this. And who will miss her talk? So, I am very happy, madam. And for this also, she has been quite regular. Whenever I say, she always somehow makes it and comes here. And I am very happy to see this. And this, see, we have at one place 6 talks happening in Madras. On Madras, this is the first time it's happening. This is the only place that's happening. Not for my credit. I'm saying that, this has been going on for last 8 years. So many talks have been done. And every talk, I'm happy to see so many people have come here. And for this year, Venkatesh has been very instrumental in talking to people and organizing it. And generally, I'm always like that. If I finish it, I'm a backside person only. But of reason, today I wanted to wish or thank our Venkatesh. Therefore, yesterday he had his 60th birthday here. And very nice of you to have come here. Now, so there are small one announcement. Apart from this place, only music takes predominant most of the things happening here. We also have lot of talks. One such beautiful talk that is happening is, we have started last month Mahabharatam by Sudha Seshayan. It is 3 days in a month. So we have finished it. So next talk is on 16th, 17th, 18th of September. Whoever is interested, it's going very well. Please make it possible to attend this. To make all this happening, I need your support. So those people who are willing to support, there are QR codes there and there are some sheets outside. If any of you are interested in supporting Madhuradhwani, please support me. Now I want to give a small token of, gift to our madam. Koner Rajapuram, Rajagopalan will give that. Yeah, Venkatesh, please come up. Please come. I have given, please,
Madam.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon all in the next talk. Thank you.